All right, these next couple problems that I'm going to work, and I know I skipped 7, so we're going to pick up here. Get a little bit messy. Hopefully, you took my advice. You took a deep breath, and let's get started back with this. It's going to take a great deal of playing with this, and again, there's not a whole lot that I can tell you of do this every single time. It is beyond. I need you just to assess what you have. Try things that you can do, even if you feel like they may be unproductive, and kind of see where it leads you. Okay, so let's start with the left-hand side of this. Again, I don't really know what all I have in this denominator. There's all kinds of stuff going on. So I'm going to factor it and see what all is really in here. So if I take out a 5, I'm going to be left with y squared minus 9. Okay, we have some good news in doing that. And that is that y squared minus 9 can be factored pretty easily. We know that it's going to be factored into, and here I'll use a little bit different color. This is going to be factored into y plus 3 times y minus 3. Now that looks a little bit like this, but it's not the same, and they cannot cancel. So we've got to kind of figure out what can we do with this in order to get to where we want to go. So here is what I am going to propose. Let's write the left down. 6 over 5 times y plus 3 times y minus 3. All right. All of this is going to be minus 8 over 3 minus y. Now, I need to get this 3 minus y that I have right here to look like y minus 3, and it'll be pretty easy to find a common factor after that. Typically, when I subtract things, I send the subtraction sign. We know it's like saying that all of this is negative, which means either the top could be negative or the bottom could be negative. And typically, I send the subtraction sign to the top, to negative 8. We could say it's like plus negative 8. However, in this case, I'm going to use this, and I'm going to send it down here to the bottom. And here's what this is going to do. This is going to be the same as saying 6 over 5 times y plus 3 times y minus 3 plus, we're leaving 8 on the top, and I'm sending that negative sign down. So let me kind of go back, and I'm going to work in purple again so you can kind of see. When this negative sign comes down here, it makes it positive, and we end up with negative 3 plus y, which could be written as y plus 3. Which tells us that's good news because we have a y plus 3 on the left, now we have a y plus 3 on the right. The only thing we need in order to add these two things together is a 5 and a y minus 3. So we will multiply this by 5 times y minus 3, 5 times y minus 3, and that's going to lead us to 6 plus 8 times 5 is going to be 40 times y minus 3. And on the bottom, we have 5 times y plus 3 times y minus 3. Let's continue to see what we can kind of put together up on the top. When I distribute 40, I'll get 40y minus 40 times negative 3. So I'm going to get 6 plus 40y minus 120 over 5 times y plus 3 times y minus 3. Last step, let's say 6 minus 120 should give us negative 114. So we're going to end up with negative 114 plus 40y over 5 times y plus 3 times y minus 3. And again, you could rewrite 5 plus 3 times 5 minus 3 as one term. All right, so again, I hope I don't believe I was misleading in saying that this was a complicated and tricky problem. I'll leave it up here for just a second so you can make sure that you copy it all down or pause your video. All right, so this leads me to number 10. I'm going to work number 11. And again, we need to have a basic understanding of these with the acknowledgement that looking at this problem, the first time I saw problems like this, I don't know exactly what to do. So I'm going to try something that I can do and see where it leads me. And sometimes it will lead me, usually it will lead me to the right place, but it's not as cut and dry as, oh, this is just what you do. So I'm going to say I know what to do with division of fractions. This is going to give me 1 over a plus 1 over b, and we end up multiplying by the reciprocal. So that means we're going to multiply by a over 1 minus b over 1. So here I have choices, and there is not a right or a wrong as long as I kind of play within the rules. One choice that we have is we could find a common denominator in order to add all of this together, and find a common denominator in order to add this right term together, and we could then multiply those things together. Or we have a binomial times a binomial. Again, acknowledging that I don't know which way is the best way right off the bat, I'm going to make a choice, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to FOIL this. First, outer, inner, and last. So 1a times a over 1 is going to give me a over a. 1a times negative b is going to give me negative b over a. I'll have inner, so 1 over b times a over 1 is going to give me a over b, and then minus b over b. Well, the good news is I acknowledge that this right here, a over a is 1, and b over b is 1, so I have 1 minus 1. These things really just go away, and I'm left with negative b over a plus a over b. In order to add these two things together, they have to have a common denominator, which means this left side needs a b over b, and this right side needs an a over a. And so I'm going to end up with negative b squared over ab plus a squared over ab, which is going to be equal to, and I'm going to move my a squared first. I'm going to instead of negative b squared plus a squared, I'm going to say a squared minus b squared over ab. It would not be wrong to say negative b squared plus a squared. That's just typically not how we work through it. So it led me to a place where I was able to simplify it, and that is the goal. We're just trying to simplify these things. All right. Number 9, I'm going to kind of leave you guys to struggle through, because I do want a problem on here, and I think it's manageable. but I want to show you one more of these kind of fraction divisions because I think 11 is especially tough. So let me crank through number 11. And we will see where this one takes us. I'm going to use the same strategy I used last time, which is that really what we have here is, this is x over 1 minus 5x over x plus 2. We have all of this multiplied by the reciprocal of x over x minus 3. Now, I could do the same thing that I did last time, and I can kind of distribute this to each one. However, when I distribute to x minus 3 to x plus 2, that gives me that's going to make a little bit of a mess. So I'm going to try and avoid that. Instead, I'm going to find a like term, and let's add these together, and then I'll multiply as kind of a last step. So, working in purple, I need the common denominator of 1 and x plus 2 needs to be x plus 2. So I'm going to kind of slip this in here. I hope you guys think this is okay for me to multiply this x over 1 times x plus 2 over x plus 2. So that's going to give me x times x plus 2 over x plus 2 minus 5x over x plus 2. All of this times x over x minus 3. Move my work up so I'm continuing to have space. I would get x times x is going to give me x squared plus 2x minus 5x over x plus 2. So all of that is that first term times x over x minus 3. Alright, I'm questioning right now. Am I headed in the right path? Am I doing what I need to do? And the truth is, I don't really know right now. We're going to keep doing what we can, and we'll figure out where it leads us. I do notice that I have a 2x minus 5x, so that can simplify into x squared minus 3x over x plus 2, again times x over x minus 3. But now we're getting to a spot where I really do think that we are making progress. So x squared minus 3x, they have an x in common. Let's turn around and take it back out. So that is going to be x times x minus 3 over x plus 2. And let's go ahead, and we're just multiplying now, so let's go ahead and multiply this times x over x minus 3. Oh, we would recognize here we have x minus 3's in common, so those two things cancel. And following the last step, now we just have x times x on top, which would be written as x squared, and all we have is an x plus 2 on bottom, so x squared over x plus 2. A long, crazy problem, but again, that's what Algebra 2 is all about, is you have a skill set. Now use those skills in order to solve those problems. Actually, I'm going to say y'all can omit number 9, but I do want you to move on to IXL. And your IXL assignment is going to be IXL in 6 for today. Okay, I'm going to say take it to 85%. Whatever you don't finish, finish for homework. Okay, so to 85%.